Hey everyone, it's so good to be here. I'm Helena Hart and I'm here with one of my best friends in the entire world, Mike Goldstein.
Yes, thank you for having me, Helena.
Yes, we were just kind of cracking up over here. We wish you guys could be here for the setup of this. It's always it's always interesting and hilarious. Thank you guys so much, Lori and everyone watching. Let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. Tell us where you're watching from. We haven't done this in a few weeks, but we're super excited. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mike, he is the founder of Easy Dating Coach. He actually has the highest success rate in the entire country for getting his clients into relationships. 83% of his clients get into relationships within the first 3 to 4 months. Do I have that correctly?
Nailed it.
Okay. And any questions you have for Mike or myself, let us know in the chat as well. Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 surprising things that make a man want you more. And these are counterintuitive, especially number 3. So make sure to stay till the end of this video because we're going to go pretty in depth on that one. And we're super excited to jump in. Is there anything you want to say before we start?
I'm just excited to be here.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we're so excited. There's a lot of people watching and commenting, so thank you guys so much. Let's just jump in then, Mike. What is that first thing that makes a man want you more?
Oh, this is such a phenomenal topic. There's kind of like a bit of an epidemic that no one is talking about in society today of men just kind of losing their spot, especially in relationships and in society, and they're not feeling needed. And we want our man to feel needed, want him to feel like there's a spot for him. And when we make a man feel needed, it just makes him want to do more. It makes him want to be there. It makes him want to show up. So let me give you an example. Well, let's go back in time for a little bit. So like the way things used to work is, for example, in caveman days, the man had to go hunt and then he'd bring back the food and he'd take care of his family. And that was his job. He was needed. And even if we go back 150 years ago, the man went to work. He provided income. And now, you know, women have their own job. Mm-hmm. They can do pretty much everything themselves and they've got everything going on. And he's like, well, where do I fit in? And then especially, you know, if a women come with, I hate to use the word masculine energy, but like just kind of take that role of planning the date and just not letting him be the leader of the date. He's like, well, where's my spot?
Totally makes sense. I don't know where this came from. Is it just, you know, so many of us today have our own careers and businesses, or they're working or raising kids, and there's a lot we have to handle in our lives, and that's all a great thing. Your masculine energy is a great thing. We talked about this in our last live stream. It's actually important and necessary in your love life too, as well as other areas of your life. So check out the last live stream we did. I'm going to include a link to that in the description of this one later, if anyone's interested more about where your masculine energy fits into your love life. But when you're actually in front of a man, it's really important to switch into your feminine energy. And the reason this is counterintuitive is because so many women are afraid of coming across as needy, I think, right? Or not able to take care of themselves. So what's the distinction there between someone, because it's important, obviously, to not just be waiting around, you know, for a guy to save you or rescue you from your own life. But when it comes to these little interactions or day-to-day things, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. You probably have so many great examples, more than I do, about making a man feel needed, right?
Absolutely. So like, just to kind of finish your point of when a woman should be on her quote unquote masculine side, and I hate that word. I'd rather just be the proactive side. Because both men and women, like I have masculine energy, I also have feminine energy, and I don't want it to be about sex. It's more about kind of your mood and how you're trying to just behave. So being proactive is going to be wildly effective, for example, if you want to just the introduction portion. So whether you're meeting someone in person or online, that's when you can go wild. And a woman could send, for example, 50 messages to 50 guys, ask guys on dates, and just get there. But then once she's on the date, you know, then she's going into a quote unquote feminine side, or, you know, less proactive and more just available and allowing the man to guide. Now, you wanted an example on needed, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong way. really simple stuff. Like, we don't need to overcomplicate this. Like, let's say you go on a coffee date and you grab your coffee. You can just say, hey, Mike, would you mind grabbing me some sugar? And then I go get it. And you go, wow, you're such a gentleman. Like, thank you for grabbing the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And only if you're coming from a place of authenticity and when you actually appreciate the sugar. But this is so valuable. And a lot of you independent women out there are probably like, I could just get my own sugar. Like, this is ridiculous. You're missing an opportunity to connect with a man where he finally has a spot of something he can contribute. Because once again, he's not contributing financially anymore. He's not, killing a buffalo for you anymore. So he wants to be able to protect you and provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one way. Another example would be like if you asked him for advice on something, like, hey, how do I do X? And then, now he gets to be this big, strong guy that, gives you advice. And it's like, wow, Mike, like, that's such amazing advice. Like, thank you. You just made my life easier. So those ways kind of give him a spot.
I think that's really good. It always reminds me that whenever we talk on the phone, Mike's like the greatest person in the world to get advice from. And a lot of my male dating coach friends, they say the same thing, and you say it all the time, is do you want me to just listen right now, or do you want advice? Right? Which is so great. And I'm always like, I want advice. I need advice from you. What brought to mind, there's somebody in a very, very close family member of mine who we know and love and hang out with literally every single weekend. She's an amazing, wonderful woman, attracts guys all over the place. But when you mention that coffee thing, she'll always say something like, just to let you know, I can get my own coffee, right?
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I don't need you to pick me up. I'm capable of getting myself there. And she's amazing and stuff, right? And she attracts a lot of men. But there's always this piece, and I see this in so many women. They don't want to just allow a man to do things for them, but men really want to do things for them, right? Like, what effect does this have on a man when a woman actually can lean back into her feminine energy and allow a man to give to her, even just in small ways?
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing. Like, the other day I went on a date, for example, and, I didn't want to be presumptuous. It was a third date. And I was like, would you mind if I pick you up for the date? And she was nice enough to lean back and say, yes, that would be very nice. And so then when I get her, I pick her up. I'm able to open the door for her, let her in, make her, feel comfortable, safe. And then, we can drive to the date. And she's like, well, thank you so much. Like, that's so nice. Now, she has a cocktail or two. She doesn't have to worry about, safely getting home. She had the extra time to, wait so that she's getting picked up. She doesn't have to leave earlier. And so for me, what that does is it's like, oh, I get to do something. And I feel like I'm providing and I'm smiling ear to ear because I know I'm making her life easier. And then what she does is she appreciates me. She's like, you're a gentleman. Like, thank you. And that's all I want to hear. Once I hear that, especially because I'm words of appreciation, it's like, I did it. Like, totally.
They want to do things. If they didn't want to, they wouldn't ask, right? Or they wouldn't offer. So just practice saying yes. Say yes until you have to say no. I think that's like kind of a good, just allow a guy. Obviously, if it's like your first time meeting him, if you don't feel comfortable having him pick you up, of course, meet him there. But after that, just see what he does. See, and of course, that acknowledgement and appreciation is going to be the fuel that he runs on and drives him forward and inspires him to want to keep pursuing you, right?
Yeah, like the more compliments, the more I want to do. Like, how can I one-up myself? How can I step my date up? How can I be more of a gentleman? How can I provide more to her? Absolutely.
Love it. So great. Okay, every time I'm doing this, you guys, I'm just scrolling through the questions. Let's see, my husband of 9 months has taken a back seat. These are so tiny. Taken a back seat to everything, love, sex, connection, due to, he said, I didn't something he can't get over. I did something he can't get over. I said something on Facebook. Anything you want to say there? Should we save the questions to the end, or?
Oh wait, then he thinks I betrayed him, but he was talking to another woman and his ex-wife for months. He doesn't see where he is wrong, that I'm wrong when here. How do I get him back?
Oh, there's more. She's gonna let me. hasn't had sex with me in over a month. He will hug me before work most days. That is it. That's a tough situation. That's a really tough situation.
I guess my first question is, does he want to make this relationship work? Because, we're happy to like give you strategies and give you work, but we only want to do it if, the man's receptive of receiving you. Like, is he all out, or is he willing to make this marriage work and make this relationship work?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's great. Let's you know what? We'll do the rest of the questions at the end, unless we see one that like really fits into the rest of these. So you want to jump into number 2?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, do you want me to say, this is very kind of last minute, and do you want me to introduce this one? Okay. Number 2, surprising thing that makes a man want you more is having really strong boundaries and feeling so strong and secure on the inside, right? Knowing your value, knowing your worth, not settling or compromising your boundaries because you just have really strong feelings for this man, or you're afraid you're going to lose him if you don't do that. So any thoughts right off the bat with boundaries?
I'm going to fall on my sword. I've been historically terrible with boundaries because I'm a huge people pleaser. I'm a words of appreciation.
Sorry,
so
the water.
Absolutely.
I know I should put it on this side.
You're fine. See, she made me feel needed. Then she appreciated.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just getting over being sick, so I'm going to be coughing probably.
Look, I'm smiling.
I get through this. Yeah.
I got to do something.
Right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. People pleasing. Something we can all relate to, right?
Yeah. So in regards to boundaries, like myself, like I find such a tough time because I feel like it's uncomfortable to confront someone, right? And tell them, hey, this is not acceptable. So usually it goes like two polar ways. It's like you're either the doormat and you just let people walk on you, or you're like, I found my voice. And then we find our voice and we're like, here's what we're going to do. Like, that's unacceptable. But we can't be either there or there. We need to find this like sexy boundaries in the middle where we decide to state our boundary, but do it in such a fun, loving way where we actually bring a guy close. And it's shocking that this is possible, but like men can gravitate towards you by having sexy boundaries when you state it the right way.
Totally.
Do you want to give an example?
Yeah, well, actually reminded of a video on your channel. Go subscribe to Easy Dating Coach if you haven't already. He has an amazing channel with incredible videos. There was one on boundaries, and I think you gave 3 examples. One was kind of like and you had names for all of them. It was so good. I wish I would have prepared a little more for this, but it was like being such a hard ass and having your boundaries like so strong on the outside that a man can't even get in, right? That would be like, trying to think of an example off the top of my head. A guy goes to move things forward a little more physically, saying something like, hey, just to let you know, I don't have sex with a guy before I'm in a committed relationship. Like way before that even happened, that the move has even been made would be one, right? Not having enough boundaries in that situation would be something like, letting it happen if you don't feel comfortable with that, or going further than you feel comfortable with. You obviously never want to do that. And the kind of sweet spot in the middle might sound something like, this feels so good. I love being with you. I'm really enjoying myself. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting closer with you. And, that's something I feel comfortable doing, like within the context of a relationship, or once I get to know you better, or whatever that is you need in place. That's kind of like the happy medium there. What do you think about that?
I love it. And since I'm a man and I have this straight line brain, I'll give you the formula. It's like compliment, state your boundary, and then maybe end with a compliment. So you kind of have this compliment sandwich, which is exactly what Helena did. She's like, that feels so good, and you're amazing. I don't have sex until I'm in a committed relationship, but you're fantastic, and I want to keep getting to know you.
Yeah.
And that's like great. The guy's like, okay, cool. I wasn't rejected. If you reject a man, he is going to run. Like, we are built to be the chasers, but the moment we keep getting rejected, or even a big rejection where we're like, I guess she doesn't like me, and especially like it's so vulnerable when a guy, for example, goes in for a kiss. Like, it is the most terrifying thing in the world as a man when we're like this first kiss, and if like we get rejected, or when we're trying to have sex. But it's vitally important to have your boundaries and say like, hey, you're amazing, I just don't do this till then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. If you guys want more examples, let us know in the chat too. We're going to get to your questions at the end, as many as we can. This could work for anything, right? Not shaming a guy if he, doesn't know exactly what it is you want when you want it, but letting him know, like, oh, like this is really great, and it would feel really good if, and then state your need or desire and boundary, and then again show the acknowledgement and appreciation. So basically, the way I think about this is keeping your boundaries on the inside, right? Feeling so strong and secure and confident on the inside, that's what allows you to be soft and feminine and open and receptive to a man on the outside so that he can actually get close to you. What I found is that when women don't trust themselves, when they don't feel strong and secure, and they don't feel they're going to hold that boundary for themselves, they put walls up. We've all done this, right? We put walls around ourselves, and then a guy just smacks right up against our walls, and he can't get close to us. There's nothing to compel him to keep coming closer, right? So that's why having your boundaries on the inside, hugely important. I know I talked a lot about that in a lot of my videos. If you guys have questions, let us know. Anything else you want to say on boundaries?
Yeah, this is like the golden nugget. What you just said is like kind of this soft outside. And then when they truly get to the boundary of this hard kind of core where you state it, but you're still doing it with the soft way. Because to your exact point, if you come out, guns a-blazing on this boundary, this guy is going to be terrified of you. Because he's going to be like walking on eggshells, not able to be himself. And everyone here wants the guy to be himself because that's who you want to fall in love with, right. Like the true version of him, not have him walking on eggshells for a year, 2 years. And then finally he decides to be himself, and now both of you resent each other.
Yeah.
So when you're like soft, he feels comfortable to try things, to experiment. Like, hey, I'm going to do this like spectacular date because I know like you have this soft core, and even if I mess it up, like you're not going to be like, you stink, and like that's against one of my boundaries. It's going to be like, wow, like this is so thoughtful. You tried so hard. I appreciate you. Next time I prefer X as a date. And now he's like, well, let me rev it up. Let me try this. I always get compliments from her. I always feel safe around her to try things. Now I'm going to really step up my game in terms of these dates and loving her.
With the right guy, it's like he's going to respond to this and he's going to get activated. If you set a boundary and a guy like doesn't want it, he keeps pushing it, he tries to talk you out of it, that is such good information for you to have early on, right? You want to see what he does. So the point of this is not to like make a guy take you to the place you want or force the situation or control anything. It's kind of the opposite. It's just to see what he does with that information, right? Does he step up or not, right? Does he, with the right guy though, you expressing a boundary is not going to scare him off. It's not. And if it does, just drop him, just get rid of him, right?
I love that. Like the quintessential example that happens to all my clients, and I'm having the same conversation over and over again, is maybe a guy's not showing up for dates enough. Like he kind of like, especially when I was living in New York and I had a lot of New York clients, like guys work a ton. And so then the guy doesn't take her on dates like once every 2 weeks or once a month. And, that's not going to get a woman excited. Like she wants to feel courted and like a guy coming after her and making her feel special about, all that stuff. Anyway, so this is your opportunity to state your boundary because every woman on here deserves to be courted, to be taken on special dates and made to feel special. So all you say to him is, you would make me the happiest woman in the world if you take me on a date, on a special date sometime. And so now we start seeing what he does. To your point, like, does he show up? Does he start taking you on the date? Or does he just totally disregard you? And that's not good, especially like early stages of a relationship. You're telling him, this will make me the happiest woman in the world if you do X. We need him to deliver.
Yeah.
And so it's a great test, and we're wording it in the perfect way. Because as a man, if you say you will make me the happiest woman in the world, I receive that like perfectly. Because that is what I want to do. I'm like, you gave me a spot, you gave me a job, you told me exactly what to do. All I've got to do is do it. Like, this is so easy you told me what I need to do. Like, it's perfect.
With the right guy, he's gonna love it. He's gonna love it, right? And so many women are afraid of expressing a boundary or rocking the boat. So you just don't want to do that. You just don't want to do. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, my cough started again. I know I sound terrible, you guys, but I'm feeling so much better. So thank you to everyone who was giving me well wishes after the last. We call it the live stream from hell because I was I had the flu. I was coughing. It was hot. We were sweating. So. Yes, feeling much better now. And that brings us to number 3, which is probably one of the most powerful things we could ever share with you when it comes to inspiring a man to step up and pursue you and really making him want you more. And that is your vulnerability. And again, very counterintuitive. I know we're going to get some comments about people saying, well, I thought men hated, emotions, hated vulnerability. Can we just dispel that myth right now? I'd love to hear anything you have to say. And of course, I have a lot I want to add too.
I think nothing is sexier than when a woman just not physically, but just shows herself naked of who she is and presents it. It's like, wow, you're letting me in. Like, you feel safe enough to tell me who you are. It's so beautiful. And then it's an opportunity for him to finally, once again, be the protector. Like, hey, she's telling me the last guy cheated on her 5 years ago. And this is his time to be like, I am your secure rock. I will never, ever cheat on you. I don't cheat on women. That's not something I do. And now we've had this bonding moment, for example. And it's so sexy that she told me this, because now I understand her. I'm getting closer to her. I know why she behaves a certain way. So now we both can kind of work together to, if there is any resentment or insecurity from that, I know what stems from it. I know how to behave. I know how to make her feel secure. And so now we can be a team instead of two, people that don't know how to work together, or we want to bring each other closer and act, together.
Yeah, obviously all about the way you do it. This in combination with all of these, but particularly in combination with number 2, having boundaries. I call it being strong, secure on the outside, soft, open, feminine, vulnerable on the outside, is the secret combination to making any man want you more, right? So yeah, you know your worth, you know your value, you trust yourself. That's what allows you to open up a little bit and show a guy who you really are. You want to do that right from the beginning, even just in little ways, telling a man how you feel, how you felt, giving a presentation at work the other day, or how it feels that that your family's coming into town this weekend and they're going to visit. And just little things. Practice opening up in small ways and just seeing what a man does. Watch him fall in love with you right before your eyes, basically, because the right guy is going to want to see who you are. It's your essence and your soul and just who you are as a woman, your energy, basically. That's what attracts the right guy to you, right? He's going to see you, know he wants you right away, and he's going to come after you, especially if he's a masculine energy man. So any tips on vulnerability? I mean, I could talk forever about this. I know we had some questions. Every time I do this, you guys, I'm just scrolling through the chat. We had questions even when we first started, people saying that they're having a hard time being vulnerable with their man, and it's a really common thing. So anything else you want to say on vulnerability?
Yeah, I mean, they almost become synonymous, but vulnerability and confidence really go hand in hand.
That's true. Wow, I'm really glad you said that, actually. So true.
And just to come full circle on this, there's been experiments where they ask both sexes what the most valuable thing in the opposite sex is, what's the sexiest thing. And every time it's confidence by far, and it's for both sexes. So if you're being confident in the way you present, the opposite sex is going to be wildly attracted to you. And the way we do that is being vulnerable, because that's our truth. And obviously, anyone who's told the truth before, it's way easier to say, this is exactly who I am, this is what's happening. It's so much easier to tell the truth than make up some story or a half truth or a 90% truth. When we're fully ourselves, it's so sexy, it's so confident, and we're going to bring that person right to us. And that's how we get partnership. That's how we get closer. And that's how we look sexy. And that's both physically, emotionally, spiritually. We are sexy, and we get an amazing relationship out of it.
So true. I'm so glad you said that. I've done so many videos and live streams on vulnerability and exactly how to do it. And every single time I get a comment, I thought men wanted confidence. What is this vulnerability stuff? So the fact that you're saying it takes a lot of confidence, it really does. If you've ever seen a woman or a man, this goes both ways, who is just trying to act cool, but inside they're like feeling all shaky. If you could just let a guy see you feeling nervous and shaky, like that's hugely attractive, right? Just let him see that. Let him know I'm feeling a little nervous right now. You're so handsome. Like a guy would love that, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's not about pretending to have it all together, because none of us have it all together, right? It's about letting a guy see who you are, like really letting him in on how you're feeling moment to moment. Now, of course, this doesn't mean drama or acting out or holding him responsible for how you're feeling, but just letting him know that, you cried last night watching a sad movie or something like that, or you're feeling a little anxious about some upcoming thing at work or anything, just little things like that, not looking to him to solve that for you, but just doing that because you want a deep, connected, close relationship. You don't want just a superficial relationship. No guy wants that, right? They want to see and feel who you are. So that's what I have to say on vulnerability. Anything else? Anything you want to say on like what effect that has on a guy?
Yeah, I mean, it just draws them closer. Can I tell a quick story?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a friend who started dating a woman in her late 30s, and she was a virgin. And for many of us, that can be kind of embarrassing, right? And no one wants to admit, like, yeah, I haven't had sex and I'm 38 years old. And what happened was she told him, and very early in the relationship, so she was super vulnerable, and just said, hey, I'm a virgin. And he said, cool. And it could have been so awkward and so different because, since she's a virgin, she doesn't know how to, and she doesn't have that much relationship experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's not on the level of people that, that a lot of people watching here that watch a ton of videos, go on a lot of dates. They have a lot of experience, and how to date, and how to be sexual, and kind of the nuances of dating. And she didn't know that, but she's a really good person. So he was fine with it because she's like, this is a high character person. This is a fabulous person. Okay, so if she doesn't know the dating nuances, that's teachable. But character, vulnerability, confidence, that's the stuff I want for a long-term partnership. So fast forward, I mean, eventually they had sex, they got in a relationship, they lived together. It got there, and he's obviously got some experience, but none of that mattered because she had these amazing qualities, and then the skill sets can be learned. But it all stemmed from her being vulnerable, and he was like, this is amazing. Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really glad you said that. I worked with a few different women in the past, that very same thing. And it was like this huge secret they felt that it blocked their relating to a guy because they were on a date with him. They didn't know, do I tell him right away? Do I tell him I'm saving myself for marriage? Is that going to push him away? Is that there were so many questions. And what it did was it just, there was no connection happening because they felt like they had this big secret and so they were holding parts of themselves back and not wanting to share it. So that was amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Anything else you want to say? Should we recap these and get to some of these questions?
Yeah, let's do some questions.
Okay.
I love questions.
So before we get to the questions, we just want to recap the 3 surprising things that make a man want you more are 1, making him feel needed. Number 2, having boundaries, knowing your value, feeling strong, secure, confident on the inside, which brings us to number 3. That's what allows you to be vulnerable and soft and feminine and receptive to a man on the outside so that he can actually come close and want to keep pursuing you throughout the course of your whole relationship, right? All right, let's get to some of these. Every time I'm doing this, I'm just looking at the questions.
One thing with the first one, so we got needed, boundaries, vulnerability.
Yeah.
So with needed, once you've made him feel needed, the second piece is you've got to appreciate him.
Yes.
So like, Pavlov's dogs, we ring the bell, they get their food. So you make them feel needed, you ask for what you want, and then you say thank you. And it's as simple as that. And do you have a question, or should I expand on some of this?
Let's see. Okay, here's a question. I find if I let a man do things for me, they always expect me to pay them back in sexual favors. Where am I going wrong? I would say they're the wrong guy. Obviously, completely the wrong guy. And they're giving you a gift of showing you who they are right away. So get rid of them, drop them, move on. That's my advice. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, I'd say probably 95% of the time you're going to be getting rid of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to give him one last test. And this is kind of like the Hail Mary. I say like, hey, you'd make me so happy if we could go on a date, or, hey, I'm so excited you're attracted to me, but I don't do that till I'm in a relationship. Can we get to know each other? And if he's willing to kind of refocus and get to know you,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Most of the time he doesn't, so we are getting rid of him. But sometimes, like, it's a good thing. Like, I want to talk about this real quick. When a man wants to have sex with you, take it at this level. He's saying, hey, you're beautiful, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't get insulted.
Yeah. I was going to say, men are supposed to want to sleep with you. Of course. Yeah. It's a great thing. It's such a great thing. And you are totally in control of this because of number 2, right? You trust yourself. You have boundaries. You're not going to do anything that you don't want to do prematurely or ever, right? So it's okay. And you can just go, of course, this guy wants me. What guy wouldn't want to sleep with you, right? It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But the way she worded it, it sounds like they expect it. And it sounds and I don't know if it just sounds like these are like brand new men. So
yeah, expecting it is kind of gross.
Yeah.
He shouldn't expect it. But in general, like the guy's always going to be the gas pedal and you're going to be the sexy brake.
Mm-hmm.
So you're he's pushing for sex and you're saying, wow, this is awesome. You're great, but not yet.
Right. Totally. Oh my God. We should do another live stream on that. But thank you for that question. That was great. What about making a man want you or becoming interested when you aren't in a relationship, just encountering men day to day who you may find attractive before the dating? This works great. Even with random men you meet, guy friends who you might be interested in. This doesn't have to be in the context of dating. I think any man's going to want to feel needed, right? Any man's going to love seeing your vulnerability and especially combined with having boundaries, knowing your value. What do you have to say on that?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
She says, does this work just not even in dating, but just seeing men in activities throughout your day, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Let me give you an example.
Yeah,
this was great. So Del Frisco Steakhouse. Mm-hmm. And by the way, women, if you want to meet men, you go to a steakhouse bar. If you're in New York, Del Frisco's is like a gold mine.
They have one in Vegas, California, too.
Yeah, they have like a bunch. I think
and in Texas.
Any steakhouse. Anyway, yeah, all of them. Anyway, Del Frisco's, I see this woman, and this is the epitome of men finding a woman irresistible. She's surrounded by 4 guys, and she's just smiling ear to ear and like, maybe touching a guy like, oh, that's so funny. And then she goes into like, hey, can you give me some advice? Oh, that advice is amazing. Like, thank you so much. And I'm just listening and I'm like, she's got it. She understands all these principles. And yes, it works. And these were clearly coworkers, but all these men just wanted to be around this woman. And just to be clear, she wasn't like a supermodel. She was probably in her 50s or 60s. She was a good-looking 50 or 60-year-old woman. But like, what was magnetic about her was the smiling, the being soft, the allowing men to be men and provide her and give her information and her to actually receive it and not be judgy, but like, thank you and appreciate it.
Love that. I love it. Yeah. Love seeing that. I love seeing women out in the world, but it's kind of a rare thing. It's a rare woman that knows these things. So let's see. I wanted to ask if I had an argument with my guy. We're just friends. Now he's dating. And I said to give me time. He refused and we fought on not giving me time. I said sorry to him. He didn't reply. I don't really understand that question. Do you?
Where are you looking?
This one right here. Right there.
I want to ask. I said to give him time. He refused, and we fought on not giving me. I said to him, "Give me time." He refused, and he didn't reply now. So that's a tough one. I know we're kind of past this place, but just for everyone. I love making kind of like a contract for how you're going to handle arguments up front. So even if right now you're in a fight and obviously you guys are going to either figure it out or depart from each other, but moving forward, what you want to do is build a system for how you're going to fight. So like when an argument happens, here's our strategy, here's our timeline, here's how everything plays out. And it makes arguing so much more successful if you have a system. And so what I love is like, and specifically when you're talking about a timeout, like what are the parameters around this? And this is, when we're kind of talking about our boundaries of, how, when can a timeout happen? How long is a timeout? How does the timeout take place? Like, is it going to be like, hey, like Helena, like you're absolutely amazing. Our relationship is fine. I need a minute and I'll be back, tomorrow. And then we're going to talk this out.
So good. Yeah. That's really, really good.
So we need that system in place.
I love that. I think that's really great. Christina says, I was totally in my feminine energy during a job interview last week. I got the offer today.
Yay! Let's go.
That is awesome.
Let's go.
I'm having trouble being vulnerable with my boyfriend. I'm very upset, want to reach out, but I'm hesitating. Should I reach out? The issues I'm having aren't about him. I would say, do you mind if I take this one?
Yeah, please. This is your stuff.
Oh man. Okay, so I would say ask yourself some questions before you reach out. First, are you coming from a place of lack or insecurity? Second, are you trying to make something happen or steer things a certain way or make him do something that he's not doing freely on his own right now? Those are the questions I would ask. And third, is his energy generally coming towards you? Does he generally want to make you happy? Right? So first, with the first question, if you're anxious because you haven't heard from him and you're acting out of insecurity or lack or anxiety, anything like that, maybe not the time to reach out. That would be the time I would say to take your focus off of him, put it on yourself, get yourself to a more centered, better feeling place, and then reach out once you're feeling more confident, more secure. Also, with that second question, if you're trying to make something happen, if you're trying to make him do something or anything like that, I would get recentered, focus on yourself, give that thing to yourself. And I don't know anything about your situation, so I hope this is helpful, but that's what I would say. And third, if he's just like, make sure his energy is generally coming towards you. He's, don't reach out if you can kind of already know that he's not going to receive you well or shut you down, because that's just going to make you feel worse. I always say any action taken from a place of lack or insecurity is always counterproductive. It always leads to more feelings of lack or more feelings of anxiety or whatever you were feeling that caused you to react that way in the first place. But it sounds like I'm not saying you're at that place. It sounds like you're at a pretty good place. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add there?
Just from like a science perspective, just to understand this, when you're getting depressed, sad, or anxious, typically what's happening within women, and this is not me, these are doctors telling me this, the oxytocin levels are coming down, which is causing you to feel this way. And the way we increase the oxytocin levels is just like Helena said, going to do the activities you love, like, for example, getting your nails done, going bowling, seeing friends, seeing family, having a great time, smiling, laughing, doing things that you maybe haven't done in a while. And once those oxytocin levels rise, this is the perfect time to then go talk about these issues, because now you're in your happy place, you're smiling, and now you can be in this loving situation where you're a good partner, you're feeling good yourself, and now we can work through this stuff. When you're here, you're not going to be in a good spot to work through things.
Love that. So good. Okay, great question from Lisa Marie. I feel like my boundaries are always explained away by a man. How do you properly react to this? Great question. Yeah. So if, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. If you state a boundary and a guy tries to talk you out of it, it might be a big clue that he's, maybe a little narcissistic or controlling or wants, just only cares about his needs and not your own feelings and desires. So that might be a huge red flag in my book. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a red flag there. But we, ideally we'd like to work with a partner on this, because there's always going to be resistance to change, right? Mm-hmm. So we're always going to not like change, right? As a way to know. So we don't like change, right?
Yeah.
So that's always a lot of the time, that's going to be the initial reaction. But you want to kind of come from a place of understanding, and hopefully your partner does this too. So first of all, if he doesn't agree with your boundary, ask why and find out his reasoning, his history, so that you understand it. And then hopefully, he's going to come full circle and be like, wow, she's so cool. She's like actually listening to me and understanding. And then if he's going to try to understand your point of view, if he doesn't, you can always ask him like, would you like to understand, why I'm coming from a different angle on this? And so then you can explain your side. Yeah. And then ultimately, if we have our boundaries here when we're single, and we created this when we're single, I have my boundaries, he's single, he has his boundaries. Well, now that we're having this communication, where is our boundaries going to be for this relationship? And so then once we decide upon that, now we can move forward as a team.
Yeah. It sounds like these are just men, like brand new men. I would always say something though, just like Mike said, because it's an opportunity to go deeper. So you always want to say something, like express how it feels. Wow, it feels a little weird to be questioned on that. If it's something that's like a huge deal, right? Like having sex before commitment. If you've stated that and he keeps pushing, you always want to let a guy know how something feels. Feels really important to me that this thing gets done. There's all different kinds of situations. And then see what he does. I mean, if he's a good guy and he's truly for you and interested, he's going to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry I came across that way. A lot of guys don't understand the effect they're having on you, right? And but yeah, if every single time you state a boundary, he tries to explain it away, there's just no way on earth that's ever going to feel good to you. He might not be a good relationship partner. Right? Yeah,
that's not a great skill set. But maybe if we talk to him and say, like, it would make me so happy if you listen to me and validate what's coming out of my mouth. Yeah. But yeah, if this is early on, that could be tough. And maybe you don't want to deal with it early on, where you could find someone who's already got that skill set.
Yes. Okay, Kristen says, dating for 2 years. He isn't taking the relationship to the next level. We're 47. Our kids are about to graduate. Long distance relationship, 2 hours apart. Is it time to move on? Tired of wasting time. Oh man, I have quite a few live streams and videos on my channel on what a man's commitment process looks like, what to say and do if he's not committing to you. You might want to go check those out. If anyone watching, I can post links to those. Just leave me a comment when this is done. Anything quickly you have to say on that?
Yeah, that's loaded.
They've been together 2 years, long distance. He's not committing, or he's not taking things to the next level, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years, you kind of got to go sit down and just ask him what his plan is. Like, just where are we headed? What are we doing? And, we love it when a man's got a good plan, but if the plan's not sufficient, then, you got to do what you want. Yeah. And you're still young, by the way. I have clients that are above 70. So at 47, you're still a baby.
Totally.
In my client Rolodex. So
absolutely.
Like, you've got plenty of time to go find something new if you need to.
That is so true. You're actually at a great place. Your kids are about to graduate. Exactly. You don't have this urgency like, oh my God, I got to find a guy in 6 months and start, having babies. Like you have all the time in the world. So tell yourself, everybody watching, tell yourself that. I have all the time in the world. Let's see. Dating someone on and off for 4 months. We labeled ourselves as in a relationship, but then he decided he wasn't ready. Still stays in contact and tries to hook up. How do I get him? Don't hook up with him if you want a relationship and he doesn't want that. Don't just, if you're giving him all the benefits of a relationship, he has no reason to make a decision. Why would he change anything? He's getting everything. He's getting you. I'm just saying, don't do this. Make sure he's not getting you and getting to do whatever he wants. If what you want is something more committed, right?
Yeah, and just from the male perspective, once we put you in the hookup bucket, it's very rare we're moving you out of the hookup bucket. So if you're looking for a relationship, there's a good chance you need to go find someone else, unless he steps up and changes his behavior. But to Helena's point, yeah, he doesn't get the milk for free. He's got to earn the cow. So if he can earn the cow, then cool. But put him through those paces to see if he'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yes. Hi, Amber. Okay. Jessica says, my boyfriend of 4 months is constantly telling me I'm not feminine enough. He feels like he's walking on eggshells around me. I don't know how to be more in my feminine. Please help. Oh gosh, I have literally hundreds of videos. I have a playlist on feminine energy. You can kind of look and see in your situation how to be feminine in this situation or that situation. I don't know if you're new to my channel, but that should definitely help. Go back and watch this video, secret number 3. We talk about vulnerability. And if this is hard for you, try it in small baby steps. Don't don't try and open up and be vulnerable about your deepest fears and insecurities. Start small. Tell him how you felt about the weather outside today or something like that. Just try it in very low risk situations. That would be my initial advice. What do you think?
Yeah. My advice is very simply go watch Helena's femininity videos, because I've interviewed, let's call it 200 experts, and I can say 100% Helena is the very best
Really? Wow.
in how to be feminine.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
So go watch her stuff. It's better than everyone else's.
Wow. I didn't know you thought that. Thank you. Let's see. Is it okay if a man wants me to make plans for a date? So we do what I like. Oh, great question. Great question. What would you say to, one of your clients who, let's say, is, I don't know if you just met this guy or something. What do you have clients say when men say, why don't you plan the date or tell me what you want to do, kind of thing?
Yes. I love this question. Don't fall into this trap. We need the man planning.
Oh, I love
We
that.
absolutely need the man planning, because he's going to take credit for the date. That's what we do. And so if we plan something and then it ends up being good, and you can authentically say, like, I'm having so much fun, like even if it's a walk in the park, like, this weather is beautiful and I'm having so much fun, this is great. He is going to, and this doesn't make any sense, but trust me, this is how a man thinks. We're like, yeah, I did this weather. I got us to this park. So all you have to do is very simply be like, you'd be the greatest guy ever if you'd pick us a spot. And so just throw the ball back in his court, ping pong it back over, and let him step up. Men don't realize that they need to take the masculine role all the time or plan the date. So we've got to help them. And so we're going to do that.
Such a good answer. Oh my gosh. Love it. Okay. Katarina asks, how often is it okay to express negative feelings? Definitely okay to express negative feelings. If you're feeling something strongly, you don't want to stuff it down and pretend anything. Pretend like everything's fine, right? I know every man's had the experience of being around a woman where she's fuming and super angry, but maybe pasting a fake smile on her face or just shutting down and being quiet and not expressing that. It's terrifying, right? It blocks the connection. It pushes him away. So definitely okay, as long as you're not blaming him or holding him responsible or saying, you made me feel this way. Just saying, I'm feeling a little upset right now. I'm feeling triggered. Totally fine. And you're asking how often. John Gottman has done research about, every five positive interactions to one negative is kind of like the magical key for couples who make it, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that. So don't be afraid to express it. As long as you're doing it correctly, you can say anything. I have so many videos on my channel on that too. You might want to go search for those. Okay.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just how men take credit for the nice weather for the date, when you're expressing a negative feeling, we somehow feel responsible for your happiness.
Yeah, that's so true.
But it is wildly important that women feel comfortable to express themselves. So how do we get both of our needs met? We need to have a disclaimer when you're going to express something negative to kind of protect your man from getting sad, because you're not trying to accomplish getting a man sad, but you want to talk. You just say, hey, what I'm about to say, it has nothing to do with you. It's just how I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. So give him the disclaimer and then say whatever the heck you want. So as long as he knows it wasn't me, then he'll be way more receptive to listen too, because you don't want him defensive. You want him to be listening and validating your emotion. Like, hey, I'm feeling sad. Oh no, I don't want you to feel that way. I've got you. Like, I want to support you. He's not going to be there, because if he thinks he caused the sadness, he'll be like, I didn't do that. And he wants nothing to do with it. And we don't want him like that.
So good. That was great. Disclaimer. I love that. The whole video we should do on that. So good. Okay. Deb says, I have a male friend. We've been hanging out for over a year. We feel really comfortable. I'm 12 years older than him. Nothing sexual has happened. He comes over, fixes stuff. We go out. I'm just trying to skip. Should I just take this as friendship? He's the kind of man I would love to be with, but told me nothing will happen. We are just friends. Do guys ever change their mind? Believe him. I would believe him. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Just believe him. Unfortunately.
Men don't lie.
Right?
Tell the truth.
Yeah. I think they never read the comment. We're reading all the comments right now. Maybe that one was left earlier. I'm so happy. I feel so solid in my feminine energy. I know my worth and my value. I'm about to go on a date. Lean back, warm, open energy, receive my date's energy. Yes, I love it. Eden, come back and let us know how it went. I love that. You were good to go, right? Okay. There's a girl I really like. I'm not sure if she likes me. What's the best way to approach this? Any advice for the guy watching this?
Yeah, 21-year-old going for a 20-year-old. So I'm a man. I'm a girl. I have a girl I really like, but I'm not sure if she likes me. Do you have her phone number? Do you not? Do you see her somewhere? I'm an efficiency person, and I value time like crazy. Time is our most valuable asset. So we don't have time to waste. You go up to her, you say, hey, would you like to hang out sometime or grab a coffee or whatever date you'd like to do? And if she says yes, cool. If she doesn't, on to the next. There's no time to waste. And this could go on for months where you're in the maybe world. And I hate maybes. I want a yes or I want a no. And if it's a no, no big deal. We move on to the next.
Love it. Perfect. Thank you for that. Yes. Okay. Juliet says, I'm in a long distance relationship. My boyfriend got his feelings hurt when I didn't want his help with my first home purchase. Interesting. It was very hard for me to tell him no. I have a very difficult time with confrontation, establishing boundaries. It was just something I wanted to do alone because I'm wanting to be an independent, strong person. Wouldn't a man in a long distance relationship be happy that he had a girlfriend who is strong and can take care of herself? Oh my gosh, I'd love to hear anything you have to say on that.
Oh, that one's loaded.
Oh, she also said, I have no problem going into my feminine when we're in person every couple months. Yeah. What do you think there?
Yeah. I mean, that's so cool. Like you had a goal to buy a house and you got to accomplish it. So that's freaking incredible. And that's tough though. I mean, obviously he wants to be involved. So it's kind of like two really good things. It's like, you accomplish your goal, you're going to buy a house, like you're successful enough to do that. And that's exciting. And then him, it's like, well, she's got something she's excited about and he wants to be a part of that. So that's exciting too. Like, wow, he's fully involved. He's fully vested where he wants to be involved. So you guys will have to have a dialogue about that because it's really two people that did something awesome. So you guys need to talk and figure out kind of what's going to work for both of you. Like, can you get a little involved? What involvement do you feel comfortable with? How can we, you get to accomplish this amazing thing, but him also, feel like, he gets to be part of your life.
So good. I could not have said that any better. Amazing. Love it. Hope that was helpful, Juliet. Okay, just a couple more. We have a few minutes left, so this is perfect. A friend I've known for years opened up, said he likes me, wants a relationship. He doesn't ask me on dates. He just wants sex, but adamant he wants a relationship. Okay, what do you have to say about a guy who says he wants a relationship, doesn't ask her on dates, only wants sex?
I mean, come on. Like, he wants what he's asking or what he's trying to accomplish. He wants sex.
Listen to his actions over his words there. Most likely. I mean, of course, it's fine to express, hey, I feel a little confused. I've really noticed that you keep saying you want a relationship and yet we haven't been on any dates. Is there something I should know? Is there some way we could work this out? I don't really feel comfortable having sex. This kind of feels like a booty call situation. I don't feel comfortable sleeping with a guy if that's all the relationship is. So I'm feeling a little confused. Can you help me? Can you help me figure this out? Is there something I should know? How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay, that's what I would say. Okay, how do you ask where things are going? I've been in a relationship for 2 years. I'm finally going to meet his friends this October. I've not met his family, but this writing is so small. Can you see that?
But he has met my friends and family.
Okay, he's met her friends and family.
How do you ask where things are going? It's been 2 years. I'm finally going to meet his friends this October. I've not met his family yet, but he has yet my friends and family. So at 2 years, this is just like the question above, I would think.
We answered one very similar. Yeah. And 2 years, don't be afraid to, it's not like you just met this guy. A guy should know in 2 years what he wants to, what he wants to do with you. It doesn't take a guy years and years and years beyond that, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it does depend a little bit on the age. Like, are you 20s, are you 60s?
That's true, yeah.
But if you're like, 40 plus, 2 years is plenty of time.
Okay. I think Juliet says that's awesome advice. Okay, one more. Sarah says, I have an orbiter who I have definitely fallen for. He's not there and keeps dating and says it's because I'm too intense. I always lean back and he always comes back around. Do I leave this for good? I'm wondering why he's saying you're too intense. What is it that you're doing, Sarah? But what is it that you're doing that makes him feel like you're too intense? But if when you lean back, he comes forward, keep leaning back, see what happens. But some men, if they're a little on the avoidant attachment style side, it's any step you take towards them or any need you express, anything, just they run away. It might not be, you want to be able to be yourself and express yourself. So if it's always like it gets too close and he backs off, it might not be a good fit. We all have so much intimacy and closeness that we can tolerate. So if you can tolerate this much and he can tolerate this much, it might be a little bit of a mismatch. But try leaning back and seeing what happens, I would say. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious, like, what he's coming back for. Is it like sex, or what is the value that he keeps coming back for? If he says you're too intense, like, well, why is he back? So I'd be curious about that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, he's telling you something that's wrong with you, so that's not good. You're fabulous the way you are. Go find someone who thinks you're fabulous.
That's always my advice too, right? But if you want to lean back a little more, give it a shot, see what happens. But if any little move towards him sends him running, you can't keep that going for your whole life. You just can't. Things happen in life, and right? So yeah, I think that was yes, you'll have to do the work forever. Yeah, exactly. So okay, I think that was the last one. We're coming at the end of the hour. We hope you guys like this. Love coming on, connecting with you guys this way. We did want to mention that we have a link in the description. Do you want to talk about this? I want you to talk about the way you want to talk about it.
Yes. So Helena and I came up with this amazing program that we've had for a few months now. This is on top of my program that gets 83% of my clients into relationships. We also work with people in relationships to get them in a happy, amazing place within their relationship. But anyway, we combine forces, and Helena doesn't do any private coaching. For those that have been following, she doesn't do it. But I somehow convinced her to get out of retirement to do some private coaching. So this is our most exclusive program, our highest end program.
The only way to work with me one-on-one, I guess.
Only way to work with Helena. So we have this joint partnership to work with you guys and basically just cover everything, because I'm the online dating expert. She's the feminine energy expert. There is no way you can fail. My program already does 83%. I was like, what am I missing? I need Helena, because I can't stand the 17% that, don't get the results as quickly as I want them to. And I was like, I need this. So anyway, we put a link there, but I beg of you, we do get a lot of calls for this. Do me a favor, only sign up if you are wildly interested in paid coaching. This is not a strategy call. It's just a discovery call to see if we partner, if we can make the magic happen and get you this amazing relationship. Most of my clients, our clients, get in relationships in about 3 to 4 months. But this is a big investment, a decent investment in time, energy. So you don't want to spend 15 minutes with us to just waste time. We're not giving you advice. It's all just to see if you want to join the program. So don't join unless you're serious. And I don't want to waste your time, because we don't help you on the call, unfortunately.
And we can only do just very, very tiny number of people, because this is going to be our full efforts. My 100% full private coaching efforts are just going to be going to this very, very select few women. So we want to make sure that we're a good fit. And check out our last live stream too. I'll include a link in the description. We talk about Mike's whole system. He has an amazing free webinar that explains a little more about what he does. If you guys aren't familiar, I'll include a link to that too. So everything's in the description right below this video. Mike, this was so much fun. Amazing. We love you guys so much. Thank you for everyone staying all the way till the end. A lot of people still watching. And we should definitely do this again soon.
Hey guys, thank you so much for spending your day with us. We really appreciate you. We know you could be doing anything, so we love you for spending time with us.
Yeah, we do this for you. We love connecting with you, and we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.